I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly, I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I hope everyone is having an amazing day today. So today's the big day. Tonight, this evening, we're going to have the Candlelight Vigil. As many of you guys know, if you are in the area and you would like to volunteer to help us, we've got a lot of setting up to do. We've got to set up the tents. We've got to set up the tables. We've got to put the photos in the photo frames. We've got to blow up balloons. We've got to tie the ribbon on the balloons. We've got to set up the lanterns. There's a lot of stuff. So if you guys are in and around the area and you would like to help out and volunteer for the setup, please be at the sheriff's office at 117 Justice Center Drive at 5:30 this afternoon to help set up. We will be kind of getting everybody together. Everything's going to start kicking off around 7 p.m. And at the end of the Candlelight Vigil, we will be releasing balloons and lanterns. So we're still, this is a moving process. The reason why outside of the times and everything, we have an idea of where everything's going to go. But as far as speaking, we really won't know until everybody gets there and finds out who would like to have an opportunity to say something, about summer. But she has touched many of our lives. She has touched each and every one of us. The people that watch this, the people that come to these channels, the audience, the creators, this baby has touched us. It thoroughly touched us. And we just want to honor her. And we want to honor law enforcement for their dedication. I was trying to set up my phone so I could run the videos because a lot of the stuff's on my phone. I didn't have an opportunity to download it this morning. But I did have an opportunity to download a video that I'm going to show you guys here in just a few minutes. And then we'll just have a chit chat and we'll just have a chit chat and have a discussion. So 3 flying doves, thank you. The first person that came in this morning to say hi, thank you, and send prayers and love for Summer Wells. Roswell Baby, Bullhorn Betty here is present. Cool Gamer, Pink Phoenix, Guidance in Life with TLC. I have to do a big shout out to her and Susanna. Thank you for the hospitality last night. Thank you for the wonderful company and the wonderful food. It was amazing. I had a great time getting to know them. Many of us on YouTube, we, speak in chat rooms and collaborate online, but we very rarely get to meet each other face to face and in person. And it's just a blessing to have such warm, loving people. I can't wait to meet Jenny and the other people that are coming out. It's going to be really nice to finally, see them face to face and just give them a hug and thank them for continuing to put Summer's name out there and continue to drive Summer's face all through YouTube and the true crime community. She is not going unnoticed because of the work everybody has done on social media. She is known around the world. Her face is seen globally. And when you have a missing person, exposure is the key, is the name of the game. Getting her face in front of as many people as possible truly is the name of the game. It helps, if somebody's seen her in a different state, in a different country, it does help. So I just want to give a shout out to Guidance in Life with TLC. Just amazing gals. And I have to tell you, Guidance has an amazing and inspirational story. I got to meet with her. I got to speak with her. And I hope one day she will come on here and share her message with each and every one of you. It is truly, truly amazing. So thank you. Melody, it's nice to see you. Amanda, Girls Nails Out, love it. Karen, Nancy B, Cassius Jim, I hope I said that wrong, right? I'm sorry if I didn't. Good morning. Belinda, it's nice to see you. Grace, Brenda, the Alberta Queen, it's nice to see you from Canada. Karen, another Karen from across the pond as well. Judy, it's nice to see you in here. SHCB, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm coming a little late today because, as many of you know, my car has been into the shop. It is getting repaired. I have no doubt I will be making it back to Florida safely. And just want to give a shout out about that the car is being, and I love I met these mechanics, and you know how you kind of just get a good vibe. So the mechanic shop here in Rogersville, Tennessee, I just want to give them a big shout out and a big thank you for I haven't gotten it back yet, but they did call me, and it will be done today. So like all the speakers, you know, we did a contingency plan on that too. It's like, if the car's not back, I even told them when I dropped it off, if we can't get it back today, you know, that's okay, but I will need to come and unpack it. So, and they're not too far from the sheriff's office. So if something had not worked out, it wouldn't have been such a problem to pick it up and still bring the speakers and everything over to the Candlelight Vigil. You know, yesterday, as you guys know, I ran with a headline that said, so let me just keep going here. Good morning, Katie, Sharon, Jackie, truth for the missing. It's nice to see you. Princess Mariposa. If I say these names right or wrong, please forgive me. I apologize. I try. Gigi for life. Let's see who else. Raindrops. Nice to see you. Cotton Candy Boobs. I love that name. I love the thumbnail almost better though. It kind of brings it all together. Momo, it's nice to see you. Belinda Freeman and Momo, if you don't, you know, there is, first of all, I'd like to address something here. People on YouTube that have entertainment channels and cover true crime, cover cases that are relevant. They don't cover non-relevant cases. They cover cases that their audience want to hear about. And that's what it comes down to. All these channels are monetized, but to say that they're monetized for a specific purpose is unfair to the creator. Because for me, I have covered more adults than I have children. I will continue to cover true crime. I will continue to cover murder victims. I will continue to cover missing children. I will continue to get their face out there. And, you know, this is what YouTube is about. And if you do not like it, then you probably shouldn't be on YouTube supporting it. And just by you being in these rooms for these entertainment channels, for these true crime channels, you agree to support it. And so for someone to then complain about the design seems insincere, so to speak, because right now, if, you know, I've kind of, first of all, I do not use Summer's name to make money. My channel is a monetized channel. Summer is a relevant case on my monetized channel. If people weren't watching this case and didn't want information about this case, and this is for every monetized channel on YouTube. If there was not an audience for it, there wouldn't be a channel for it. So it is the audience that drives the conversation. It is the audience that drives which cases are covered. So for you to blame one person, one creator, several creators, several or a genre for that matter is unfair and insincere. And I just want to make sure that I'm clarifying that. If you go through my channel, you will see I cover a wide variety of cases. We are coming up to the milestone of Summer Wells being missing for 1 year. And so I just feel it's time to address that, because it is in my opinion, hypocrisy, because you yourself are in here in this channel. Now, I'm not calling you out because of the comment, because the comment may not even be addressed to me. It may be addressed to another creator. I don't know. But it's still unfair for that creator, whether I agree with that creator or not. This is the design of YouTube. And by you being on YouTube and coming here and watching commercials, you are actually supporting that creator. So if you do not want to support a creator, my advice would be don't go to their channel. It's pretty simple. Yes, Belinda, I am refreshed. Thank you. To Boston's mom, nice to see you. Vicky Hess. Ellie Mae, nice to see you. The Real Angel Girl, welcome. Let's see, Crystal G, and it popped up on me, so that's funny, it rhymes. Wow, it popped up way. So if I miss some people, I do apologize. September and Sons, Barbara, it's nice to see you. Jenny, Beverly, lawyer, Cheryl. I think I'm back where I was supposed to be. Let me see if I can come over here, and if this will make it a little. I'm not doing that. Linda, mind there. Give me just a second. I hear my cell phone going, but I don't have a phone. So, and there's no phone room or phone in the room at all. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Good morning, BHB and mods. Rhonda, Brenda, tattoo, thrifting, and coffee. And if that's somebody calling here that's trying to troll, I really don't care. I really don't care. There's so many cameras around here. Come by and say hi. Shannon Pisces, Stephanie. Yeah, good. And it's off the hook anyway. So Joe D. Jackson, D. Boss, Lucia, Subbox, nice to see you. Crime Stories Assess, Emma, nice to see you. So Tracy, we got a lot of people. So anyways, guys, go out. For all those people, no, that's not what I said. Today of all days, you should switch off your monetization and not advertise. Momo, that's none of your business. If that's what you would like, then don't support it. I'm not going to play games with people. This is a monetized channel, period. I'm not going to change what I do because a few people have a problem with it, period. It's not going to happen. And if you don't like it, don't support it. It's so simple. But for you to think that you have a right to dictate to me what I am going to do is disgusting. Okay? Don't support it. It's pretty simple. Okay? Everybody, I'm pretty straightforward. I tell it like it is. And let me go ahead for my mods in here. I'm going to go ahead and change this over. I already see that we have some issues coming on in here with these trolls. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to subscriber only. And for those that are in here that just subscribed, I do apologize about that. But we are going to actually put this on for the last 24 hours. I'm sorry that I have to do that. But if you don't like that, then it's time for us to start telling the trolls that enough's enough. And we really don't care. So, and it's sickening. Don't you think it's pretty bad that people go into channels that are discussing about a 5-year-old and they can't even act right, but they sit there and try to blame creators like me as being the problem, when they themselves are the problem and they just can't look themselves in the mirror and acknowledge that. So, yes, she is gone. So Summer Wells press conference at 11. Good. We will be on that. It's almost 11. Do we know what channel that's on? And we will go, yeah, roll trolls. We don't want you in here. Oh, Smiley's World. Thank you. Oh, this comes back. So we have some emboldened women that want to protect the Wells property. curious about that. Actually, and I want to address something straight up. Everybody that's been on here that has watched Jonathan, that knows Jonathan personally, and many of us do, many of us watched him, they are actually slandering him and stating that he had threatened Candace. And we all know that that is not true. That man has never threatened a person in his life. He is the most introvert, nonviolent person that anybody could ever meet. So those women that were on that mountain, shame on you. And you are part of the problem. You are not part of the solution. No matter how much you want to try to convince yourself you are not part of the solution. You are part of the problem. You are enabling monsters. You are enabling people that abused their children. And to me, you are disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Good morning, Cher. Nice to see you. And Cher, I am going to make sure that somebody is going live from this vigil. I'm going to make sure somebody is going live from this vigil. So we will have somebody live. And you know what? I'm going to make sure that it happens, even if I have to hand somebody my own phone to run it live, just because the haters, the disgusting haters, will not win. And I refuse to allow them to win. You guys want to hate, you take that nastiness and you place it someplace else, because we will not waver. We will no longer allow you guys to bully us. We will still rise above. We will still stand strong, and we will still run our channels as we see fit. And you can run your channels as you see fit. I'm over that. So today is going to be an amazing day where we honor a little 6-year-old girl that went missing at 5 years old on June 15, 2021. While many people don't know what happened to that little girl, there has been some movement on the case, and I'm hoping that we get a little more information. As many of you have heard, we have a press conference at 11. I'm trying to figure out where is that press conference channel at, and we will happily run it live here for all of you. This is Summer's Day. Amen. Amen. This is Summer's Day. And if anybody, you know what, if you disrupt any of the vigils going on right now at Warriors Park or at the sheriff's office, you are the problem. And I want to make sure that's clear. And you will be judged in the court of public opinion. And believe me, we will record it and we will expose you. And I can guarantee that the people across YouTube will denounce you for what you are doing. You may have your small little clique of haters, but if you disrupt either one of these vigils in Summer's honor, I promise you, we will expose you. We will expose you on YouTube. We will show your face. We will show what you are doing, and we will make sure that people know who you are so that you can be judged appropriately through YouTube. And I think that is only fair, because this is Summer's Day. And if you have any scruples, any common decency, any love for this baby girl, you will join and unite instead of trying to separate. I have no doubt that either vigil that you attend will be beautiful and be honoring this baby girl. And I hope anybody in and around this area will have an opportunity to visit and view one of these, and have an opportunity to have your moment of silence just to pray for this baby's safe return. As many of us know, it has been a year, and the probability, the statistics are not in the favor of Summer being brought home safe. I went live yesterday. There was some alarming information. We knew that there was stuff going on with Harmony Montgomery. And as I stated, you know, it does look like they may have found her remains. I did listen to the press conference. It looks like they have now acknowledged that there is evidence that she is no longer with us. But I don't think that they have quite found her yet. So I wanted to make sure that that was clarified for everybody, because the title, even though I did, you know, put that disclaimer in when I was talking on my live yesterday, I told you that I wasn't sure if they've actually found her or not, but that she's pretty much gone, that I'm pretty sure that they found her. I don't know what evidence they have found, but when law enforcement comes out and basically tells you that she's not going to be making it home, that they are still looking to recover her, that means they found evidence that she is no longer alive, or have credible information to that. And it's sad that that news comes one day before we are all going to be attending and honoring Summer Wells in our own way today. So it's heartbreaking news. This stuff happens every single day. Hi, Quinny. It's nice to see you. Dream big. It's nice to see you. So we're just going to keep working. So what we're planning on doing today is, thank you, Cassius. Lucia, it's nice to see you. Oh, I wonder what did she say? I must be missing some things. I have part of it. It's a shame people would like to ruin this knowing. Yeah, but that's okay. First of all, I don't think anybody is. We've already talked to law enforcement. They are going to be out in force. They're going to make sure that this vigil goes off without a hitch. I'm pretty sure they're going to be out at Warriors. I think Sullivan County is going to be out at Warriors, making sure that that event goes off without a hitch as well. So, and it's great because we have two different main vigils, one in both counties. So I think, you know, if somebody in Sullivan County is closer to that one and wants to go, you know, vice versa, however it works out, it's nice. And I hope that they enjoy the makeshift memorial out there. If folks would like to go out to that water hole. I don't know how many of you guys saw my newly released video. Did I release it yet? Let's watch that. I want you guys to watch this, if you will. Let me back out of here and I'll pull this up. Hold on, let me find it first. Give me just a second. I got a new video out. It's related to the water hole. We did something different. This is the one video that I told you that I wanted to show you, but did not have the opportunity to. Let me just take off the ads real quick so we don't have any disruption. And oh, it's still loading. I hate when that happens. Let me see if I can send it to myself, and then we'll play it on a different. It's not letting me do that. All right, let's go to plan B. Anissa, I'm going to send it to you just to get it uploaded, so I can go to my, there we go. Just so I can go and pull it up. So that's not, the video's not for you. It's just so I can send it to somebody while it uploads. So we'll play that video in just a little bit as soon as it gets uploaded for everybody to see. There's 130 likes, guys. Don't forget to like this thing, this session, the segment. Sorry, I'm awake and I'm drinking my coffee, but to be honest with you, this is my first cup of coffee. So we'll see you when I wake up. Miss Robin, oh, Miss Robin, we love you. And Miss Frankie, you're on here. So I don't, and I'm glad you're on here even with me clicking that. I think it was when you couldn't respond and I had in the subscriber mode. I think you hadn't subscribed long enough to be there. So you're in subscriber mode now. and you're able to chat. So I think it was just something. And I got a notification through YouTube that there was an issue with commenting on lives. So some people, for whatever reason, were able to comment and other people were not. So it might have been something related to that. I'm unsure. I'm unsure. It's always been good seeing you all. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we want all the prayers and all the love. Guys, you know what I want you to do while I'm waiting for this video to upload, and it's going to take a few minutes because it's 12 minutes long. I want you guys to fill this chat with purple hearts. If you guys can do that for me, for the love of Summer, please fill this chat right now with a bunch of purple hearts in her honor, for the replay, for the people to see, if you guys don't mind, while we take a moment of silence to honor Summer Wells. Yes, Margaret, I agree. I agree, Margaret. It's emotional today. I can tell you yesterday and today have been very, very emotional for me. Oh, look at that. Gosh, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what I got on my arm. Look at that. Look at those beautiful hearts. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me see if I can find, you said the Facebook page, TBI Facebook page. Let's see. Got like a flash there. Look at that, guys. Look how beautiful the chat is. Tell me that is not a beautiful sight. That's so empowering right there. We will get into that in just a second, Stephanie. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move over to the live stream, guys, okay? Here we go. I'm going to mute. Once somebody starts talking, we will go ahead. Yes, we will go ahead and liven that up. Holy, I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see that. I got like a rash. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I'll make it bigger once they start talking. Summer Wells, you have become, let's listen to what Miss Cher has to say here. Summer Wells, you have become my baby sister by heart. All my wishes for the rest of my days will be for you until you return home. I'll never stop saying your name and sharing your beautiful face. Amen. Thank you, Miss Cher. Amen. Amen. I think everybody here mimics those sentiments. There's lead detective John Pruitt. You can see on their faces, you can see on law enforcement's faces how incredibly difficult this is. I met with an officer yesterday, and you could tell he was holding back tears. And I hope I captured it. I haven't looked at it yet, but I will be taking that live whenever I can. It melted my heart, but it also, it was sad. It's sad. This baby has touched so many. Here we go, guys.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Earhart, a public information officer for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Before we get started, I want to stress that the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells is very much active and ongoing. Please understand, in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we simply can't speak to specifics. We appreciate you being here today and your
Sorry, it's breaking up a little bit.
of this case. At approximately 6:30 this day, 1 year ago, Summer Wells, who was 5 years old at the time, was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later. We've said from the beginning, this case is outside the norm. There are few clues as to what happened to Summer, despite investigators doing everything within their power to find answers. All possibilities are still being explored. Many of you have asked for details about what's been done over the last year. I can tell you agents and detectives have spent thousands of hours on this case. Numerous search warrants have been executed, cell phone data has been analyzed, and any other available digital evidence has been collected, searched, and documented. This includes the social media accounts of those associated with Summer. 3 large ground searches have taken place in the last year with the assistance of more than 100 local, state, and federal agencies. Those searches do not account for the numerous targeted searches done by agents and detectives as they were following up on potential leads. From TBI alone, more than 100 agents, intelligence analysts, and support staff from across the state have been involved in this case. TBI agents working alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI have conducted nearly 170 interviews during the investigation. That does not count the hundreds of phone calls made to follow up on tips reported to law enforcement. While investigators have been diligently working to find answers, they've had to deal with thousands of tips generated by false information that in some cases has been intentionally spread across social media platforms. We know that this case has attracted the attention of individuals across the country who genuinely care about Summer and want nothing more but to help us find answers. We appreciate those people. However, we are also aware that there are some people using this case for their own personal gain by spreading false information on social media posts as facts. Some go as far as to solicit donations. This has had a major impact on the investigation and not in a good way. Moving forward, we ask the public not to submit tips as a result of a video they viewed on YouTube or a theory they've seen posted on Facebook. Please help us and only call if you have direct, specific information about the disappearance of Summer. This investigation weighs heavily on us all, and I can promise you that no one wants answers more than we do, and we are not going to stop until we find them. I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson.
Good morning. As Leslie mentioned, we didn't expect this case to be going on a year later. It's heartbreaking to me and my officers and the entire community. We've never stopped looking for Summer. We will continue to do so. There's never been a case in the history of Hawkins County Sheriff's Office that had officers working 365 days and had so many hours spent as we had in this investigation. Also, this office has never utilized so many different local, state, and federal agencies from across the state. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation assists us in every step of this investigation. As you heard Leslie say, thousands of hours have been invested in finding Summer, thousands of 170 interviews have been done. Many of these individuals have spoken to more than one time. While we haven't said a lot about the details about the investigative actions that's taken place, please know that we've never stopped. I bigly appreciate the many rescue squads, the MAs, and the volunteer fire department for their help. And the support from the citizens and the communities of this county is just unbelievable and overwhelming with the encouragement we get with the food during the searches we've done, and all the law enforcement officers, agencies throughout the state of Tennessee. It's just been phenomenal how everybody pitched in and helped us with these searches and with this investigation. And many of you have asked why that we didn't recruit private citizens to assist in these searches. With the extreme dangerous terrain that we were experiencing in searches, we were able to monitor each group and movement in their location. That way we knew that everybody came back to the command post safely. After the initial searches, then we had to go back and obtain the landowner's permission to search again. We could not allow or even grant permission for private individuals on these people's property. And while I can promise you that we will continue to conduct target searches in the Beach Creek area as new information is developed, we'll also continue to follow up on any legitimate leads. And it's been the goal of this team since day one to find Summer. We've never stopped, we've never slowed down, we deal with it every day. And that's the whole purpose of this, to let you all know, despite what you hear, what you see, we haven't stopped. The men and women of these agencies have worked tireless, hours and hours and hours. And I commend every one of them for the job they've done, and we're going to continue till we find Summer.
Now, as I mentioned, we can't speak to specifics, but we will take a few questions.
A few months ago, you guys said that the parents were not cooperating anymore. Has there been any changes in that respect to the
We're not going to characterize cooperation at this time. Honestly, doing so does nothing but create more speculation, and it doesn't benefit the investigation. But thank you for asking.
Guys, I'm sorry, it just went down. Let me see if I can get it on this computer here, and we'll share this screen.
I'm going to call on TBI Special Agent in Charge Derek Newport just to talk about that.
I don't even know how to fix that. Oh, here we go.
Yes, just to eliminate. We still don't have a good timeline of when that was observed. People that frequent areas on a regular basis, get their date can get days mixed up. We still want to figure out who, if possible, and if that's even a legitimate lead. I mean, so as she said earlier, we followed a lot of dead leads that didn't produce anything. So that obviously is still something we want to put to bed, but it's not. We still can't pinpoint the date and the exact location.
Anybody else?
We don't have anything specific, and I think what's important to note there is that the sheriff mentioned how many hours we've put into this investigation and how much time has been spent exploring every possibility: walk-off, abduction, other foul means. And I think that's the thing to keep in mind is it's still really wide open as to the what. We try to stay away from developing theories and just follow facts. No specific plan. However, if we get specific information about a specific location, building, what have you, we will coordinate with each other to go take a look at that location. What made it hard back in the summer is obviously the foliage. That's why you saw the 2 searches that were when the leaves were on the ground, so that we could use air assets and that you could actually see more of what's on the ground at the time. And people say, well, leaves to cover things up. Well, move things around enough, we'll see what you're looking for.
It still stands.
No, they did not.
Thank you guys for being here. I just want to point out one more thing. This case is not cold. We get asked that a lot. It's not. We're talking to the sheriff constantly. We all work together as one team, and we're determined to find answers. Thank you for coming.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this was on. Okay, so it appears, let me go ahead and exit out of that. So it appears to me, let me get my pad out. I took some notes. Can you guys hear me okay? I was trying to get the other screen brought up, but there we go. I tried to get the other screen. Why don't they? So, you know, in these investigations, we don't know what their issues are. It doesn't change the fact that law enforcement has worked. They've expended thousands of hours. They're going through cell phone and digital evidence. They've already received that. They've conducted over 170 interviews. A lot of people had asked why they, why they opted to, let me see, why is this doing this? I don't want to drop it. They asked why, people have been asking why they don't ask for people to join in with the search. And they said because of the extreme, dangerous terrain, they need to be making sure that everybody is accounted for. They also spoke of, and it's kind of funny that they brought up the donations aspect, because Guidance with Life and Susanna, that we were actually talking about this. Many people don't know. A lady for the signs, for the what are they called? The big signs. Why am I not thinking of it right now? The billboards. One lady was scammed out of $20,000 in donations for those. So when they're talking about donations and people doing that, that is what they are referring to. They specifically talked about people on social media interjecting misleading information about the case, specifically to throw off the case. And we know who those are. And they actually acknowledged that there are people out there on YouTube truly concerned about the well-being of Summer Wells, and they thanked us for that. I want you guys to go back and listen to what they said on this live. You know, because those same people that are spreading the misinformation are pointing to the fingers at the legitimate people that are doing things out of the kindness of their hearts and trying to bring awareness to the case because of the love for Summer. And these same people that are giving misleading information are also the ones that are shaking their finger at the people that are legitimately trying to help. And so I am so happy that Hawkins County as well as TBI have addressed both of those issues here in such a way that they have. We are very thankful for the law enforcement agents and agencies that have helped in this case. Just because there are no answers does not mean it's law enforcement's fault. Does law enforcement make mistakes? Of course they do. Why? Because they are human. Because they are human. All humans don't do things 100%, perfect. Perfection is only in a person's mind. There is no perfect scenario. There is no perfect scenario. There is no person to blame other than the people that did this to Summer, that have caused this for Summer, and the people that have intentionally interjected themselves into this case to throw people off. Am I frozen? I'm monitoring myself on here. Let me go to my channel. I shouldn't be frozen. Let's just see. Give me just a second, guys. Am I still frozen? I get a bad feeling from Ronnie Lawson in this through the damn TV. What do you mean by that? I'm curious as to what you mean by that. Okay, it looks like I'm up and running. I don't. I'd like to see what you mean by that. Dream big. Okay, not frozen. Okay. Okay. So I'm very thankful that not only because, we've always heard about this and people are unclear what they mean by, people that have profited off of this case in bad ways. We run these true crime community cases and run these true crime community channels and run these cases for the normal run-of-the-mill YouTuber like me, like Dolly, like Cher, like Ziggy, Marissa. We're not taking donations for things like billboards that don't go up. We're not scamming and bilking people out of thousands of dollars under the guise that it's to help search for Summer. And the people that are, I am glad that law enforcement acknowledges it and addresses it. I'm glad that law enforcement actually came out and acknowledged that people are willfully and intentionally throwing false narratives out there to the public about what has happened in this case, just to throw the case off. And we know who those people are. It probably has something to do with shoes and feet print and, this person and that person and every other place. And somebody asked me in here, how do I feel about Don Wells' most recent statement? I feel disgusted. And I think Guidance and Suzanne were with me when I said how disgusted I truly felt when I found out that Don is trying to change the Amber Alert. Disgusted. And if he is ever on a legislative bill or something related to children, I don't know. I will just be in awe. I think we would all just be disgusted. I don't know how else to put it. If they cannot confirm the date she went missing, then the milk photo was not confirmed as day of. Interesting point. It was skipping on my, because I'm in the room and it's the internet is, not as good. This area is just not good for internet purposes. It just really isn't. And so there was some stuff that I missed because I was trying to make sure that it was running correctly for you guys. And I know you guys probably heard the actual audio better than the actual video. Could be a myth. Let's see what it says. Could be a myth, but I'm telling you, Don never, in all my talks with him, anything but cuss Lawson. Yeah. Charlotte Ann, the statement was the same statement he said before. Gotcha. I don't think they got away with it. I really don't think because they didn't want to address whether that they're whether the Wells are cooperating or not. She even said that it does no good but cause additional speculation. I don't know what that means. But did you see their body language? Their body language was very, very tense. TBI spokesperson's body language was tense. It almost sounded like they all just had a big fight before they came on there about what was going to be said and what was not going to be said. Did anybody get that vibe that that TBI in Hawkins County, they didn't seem very happy today? I mean, this is not a happy occasion, but usually you have some, they were just very short, brief, and very vague, more vague than I think they have ever been in a press conference. Did anybody else pick up on that? Yeah. Yeah. A cold case in Texas where a couple was murdered and the child's now 50. Yeah. Yes. Robin, I did see that. Uh, but do you really, I mean, that's amazing. But that is, that is more of, what is it called? Like the outlier. There are always outliers in the rule of large number. Just because it was not, it was one person out of, hundreds of thousands of people, that there was one child that actually was alive 42 years later is more of an outlier than the rule. But there was definitely, like, you could almost cut the tension in that room with a knife. Their faces, it almost like it seems like they didn't agree on the messaging. And so since they didn't agree on the messaging, they made it as short. Yes. I don't think I've ever seen Leslie Earhart with that body language, with that tone, with that facial expression. There was something going on behind the scenes right before that press conference. And I noticed it when I saw the lead detective, John Pruitt, standing there. You could kind of see it on his face. Yes, yeah, they all look on edge. Definitely look like they weren't all in agreement on something, or just bothered that they had to do that conference. I don't know, but yeah. But I was very thankful because they did acknowledge, and I love the fact, the other ones in the past, they never acknowledged that there are people here in the world of YouTube that are truly doing this for the right reason. I think they do acknowledge that. I've had many conversations with the law enforcement here and recently, face to face, personally, and on the phone. And you can tell that they just really need some positive words of encouragement. And again, that is exactly why we are doing the prayer and candlelight vigil at Hawkins County, so they can hear that we love and support them. We want them to continue to move forward. We want them to continue to do the right thing and to keep moving this ball forward. We want to continue to make sure that Summer's name is in the spotlight. We want to make sure that she is not forgotten, and I can tell you the sentiments here in Hawkins County is they are wanting the detectives, these people are they have families. They go home to their little children every night, and I guarantee they hold their kids just a little bit tighter because of Summer Wells and this case. Just because they can't, the law is the law. They have to prosecute within the means of the law. It doesn't mean that these law enforcement agents aren't working their asses off. If if I have that video, if I have that gentleman, the officer's yesterday's facial expression, and you guys see this man holding back tears, this detective holding back tears as we are talking about this case and the hard work that they put in, and the fact that we are there, to also tell them thank you. And when he heard that, and you could see that he was almost, fighting back, that it melted my heart. And to hear the hate, we've been critical of some of the things that go on here because we're discussing the case. And when we discuss the case, we do kind of, talk about, some things that we feel that may be an angle and where we think that they could be stronger at, and we're critical of them. But we do not come from a place of hate. That criticism comes from a place of love. But there are people out there that send these officers hate mail, literally hate mail. Shelley, until you walk a mile, I'm sorry, I disagree. Until you walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, it's not for us to judge that. I guarantee you that these officers, these detectives are out there working. When I was there, they're working. When I walked in that sheriff's office, you've got 5 or 6 people around a table at the front glass discussing things, strategizing on things. And that's when I just walked in. So we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And yes, I do believe that they are doing their best. Just because things aren't moving at our time doesn't mean they're not doing their best. I will still continue to be critical of law enforcement and their work and where I feel, because it's my opinion, right? And we're working on that. And I will still be critical of where I think improvement needs to happen. But that doesn't change the fact that I back the blue, and I believe these are good people and they are doing the best they can. Did you hear Ronnie Lawson say they have never in the history of Hawkins County ever had a case like this? This means this is so different from anything that they have ever done before in the history of this county. You can't expect them to do everything 100% when they have never had to deal with something like this before. They've never dealt with a case like this before. They are do I believe they're doing their absolute best? Yes, I do. I do. Do I believe they're doing everything perfectly? Of course not. Could you do everything perfectly? I don't even clean my house perfectly. I don't even wash my car. Heck, I just mowed my yard before I came here. Mowed the yard 1,000 times before. And guess what? I didn't do it perfectly. I think the latest search, they're not, I think that they are part of, I think that kind of poke about intentionally throwing in information to throw off the case, I think that went directly to those PIs and the people that are covering that, to be honest with you. I really do. And I have always advocated that if we're going to call in, or anybody's going to call in tips, that they are legitimate tips, that they are not speculation. We have said that on here since December. And actually, let's see if I've got that. I'm pretty sure I have that statement on here. So this channel has been advocating for only legitimate firsthand knowledge leads to be talked about. Give me a second. I know I've got it somewhere. So that's the dispatch center. So that means this is it. I think this, here. Is this it? I think it's this one. We're gonna let me play this one and see if it's right. It may not be right, guys. I'm just gonna let you guys know right now. It may not be right. Let me share the screen. I don't know if I'm gonna have echo. Okay. And we got a lot of stuff on here, that's for sure. Actually, let me pull this off while I find it, and then I'll put it back on when I do find it. We've got it. I just saw it. Right there, right there, right there. I think it's this one right here. Let's see if this is it.
Filming him in there too. Because they want to be seen as being. Try to find her, try to.
Summer's disappearance, speculation on the internet. These people have been working this young child that's missing, discussing what people that love each other can do to each other.
You guys have families too.
Yeah.
You're risking your lives to try to.
Absolutely. Yeah, the people on the internet should truly be ashamed of themselves, because these people are lovely people, and giving this town a bad stigma like that. So far, everybody we've spoken to, the sheriff's office, the clerks at the county courthouse, the administrative building, everybody has been so helpful, so cooperative. They want the community to show love and support and help find this young child that's missing. In many cases, these people have their own children, and would never want something like this to happen. We've confirmed, that the police are doing, the sheriff here is doing everything they can. They're working in conjunction with TBI. The FBI has had some involvement in this case. And we're really trying to bring awareness to Summer Wells. We're trying to bring some answers to law enforcement as well as her family. And, it is confirmed. These guys know what they're doing, and they've done a lot out here to try to find her. What I find surprising is I read body language, and it seems this is hitting a little close to home. They realize that, people that love each other do terrible things to each other. Absolutely. And, this is not, what we hear on the internet is not going to deter us from our objective, which is to find more answers in connection with the missing person of Summer Wells. And we're going to continue to execute our strategy and try to find more answers.
Andrew, can you confirm what the detective told us about what people on the internet are saying about this county and how they're coming up with the most negative speculations? They've never been here. And then when people do decide to come here, they ask stupid questions like, have you thought of bringing out
Helicopters and stuff
they
like
were
that.
very insulted by
Yeah,
that.
they're very insulted by some of the people and some of the people's speculation on the internet. These people have been working around the clock. They're still receiving tips every single day.
1-800 TBI fine.
If you have any answers in connection with Summer Wells, you're asked to call 1-800 TBI fine. I'm pretty sure you can make an anonymous tip there. So we want to start pouring in the tips, not the speculation. If you live around here, or you know something, or you know somebody that knows something, please help this young child. She's been missing for 6 months. We don't know where she is. We're just getting started, but we need some help.
So you came in here, you got some records, right?
We got lots of records.
So we did ask for, we got to go and get some incident reports, but we did ask for the arrest record of Don Wells. We would like to investigate him and his background a little more, Candace's background, Grandis's background. We are trying to seek answers right now. To the best of our knowledge, Don Wells was not at the house at the time of Summer's disappearance. That's only leaving 2 adults that have not truly fully answered the questions the public as well as the sheriff and investigators have, and that's Candace Wells and Grandis Harrer. So, and her name is also Candace. So we're still looking, we're still digging. We're going to get to the bottom of something. I feel that something, I think we're going to be able to provide 1-800-TBI find something.
So you notice you came in here, asked for some sheriffs, and asked for the arrest records, and they were very cooperative. They actually brought out a few sheriffs, sat down and talked to you while someone went inside their office to get the records. They didn't feel it was a burden. They didn't, kind of be like, really?
They did not have an ego issue here. When we were in Moab, for example, and we were dealing with Lieutenant Kim Neal, he was so uncooperative. He was so pompous. These people are really sympathetic and empathetic to this young child, Summer Wells. And I've got to say that these people here really truly want answers, and they don't care how they get them. They don't care who's involved. They know it's been 6 months. Then they realize that they don't have enough right now to do anything. Hopefully, maybe some tips that we receive over the next couple days might be able to spark something. It may not. But we are going to do the best that we can as a team collectively to help this young child that's missing.
Where are you going next?
We're going to go over to the clerk of courts. We're going to see if we can look at any court records that involve any of the three that we're talking about. The Grandis, which is grandma, Candace, which is mom, and Don Wells, which is obviously dad.
Okay. Thank you, Indra. That was excellent. You're the PR. God bless them.
If people are wondering why we're looking at feet when you guys were listening to this, it's because I didn't realize my phone was recording, because Olivia, Jonathan, and MGL were recording me, and I didn't realize I forgot to turn my recorder off. I'm glad I still had the clip so you guys could hear. This clip came, this was on December 8th, 2021. So 12/8/2021. Since we stepped foot in Hawkins County, we have been advocating for legitimate tips only to be called in to 1-800-TBI find. And still, every day that I come on here and speak of the Summer Wells case, we have been asking for legitimate tips, and I have clearly said no speculation. And I'm glad that they addressed, because I have been saying for a really long time on my lives that many of you guys have been watching, that there have been some YouTubers out there intentionally thwarting this case, intentionally throwing people that have nothing to do with this case in it, which takes resources from law enforcement. We have discussed that many times. How many times have we discussed it? For the people that have been here so many times. No one is attacking, said no one should say nothing negative about Andra. I am seeing this stuff. So let me address some things here. Let me get back up so I make sure I'm addressing the right person. Jersey girl, I'm not sure who you are. I don't really recognize you too much. I don't know. I see you going back and forth with people. Here, oh, thank you, Karen. Here, and I'll get to yours in just a second. Here in this chat, you are open to speak. You must speak respectfully to one another, to other creators. You are not allowed to creator bash in this chat room. And, when addressing me, you can have opposing views, but we need to do it respectfully. If you can follow those rules, that's fine. Also, just to let everybody know, I do not block or time people out in here. I leave that to my mods and my mods' discretion. They are thoroughly trained. They work with me for chat room policy specifically. So people do have the ability to freely speak in here as long as it's respectful. I realize people, want to have someone to blame, for why this case is not going forward. remember, there's still a gag order in the child, the boy's case. There's still things going on that front. The disappearance of Summer Wells, we knew was going to be tricky. There's a few things that are causing problems, in my opinion, in this case. And here's what they are. They don't have a lot of technology out here. You guys have watched, even the lives here skip. Even when I was, running the stream, it was freezing a little bit, even though you may have heard the audio. It's because they don't have that advanced technology that many of us are accustomed to in our areas, in our personal areas. Like, I don't have these problems, or have very limited problems when I'm home, because we have great technology in my area, like many of you do. So one of the problems I can foresee is, the lack of cell towers, the lack of the ability to use your phone in and around that area makes it more difficult to track people. If you don't have cell towers to ping off of, you're having to do a lot of legwork to go to stores to get camera footage. Again, even the camera footage technology out here is not as advanced as as in areas like mine in Manatee County, Florida, where they're able to record a lot longer. So if they weren't able to get to that recording in a certain amount of time, that recording could have very well been recorded over, causing additional problems with them confirming people's stories, timelines, and alibis. So there's a lot of things that we're not looking into as causing major problems for this case, because right now they still haven't found Summer. So even if they were to build a case in absentia, which means without a body, they have to proceed with a case that's circumstantial. And circumstantial cases are winnable if you have all the elements in place. So if they're going to move forward with absentia, body in absentia, that means the body's not there, they're going to have to build a circumstantial case outlining every specific move, showing that certain people were the only people that could potentially be responsible for this child's disappearance, for this child most likely death. And when you don't have those things going on, and you don't have those records to show the pings and things of that nature, it's making it more difficult to find where the last place this person was. Because nowadays, as many of you guys have phones, once upon a time, you could remove the battery from these phones. None of these phones these days, unless you have older style phones, have the battery removed. What does that mean? That means even when you power your phone off, they can still ping your phone. So even these new phones that are out today, many people have these, the ability to ping. But if you don't have the cell tower to ping off of, it makes it difficult for people to be followed when cases like this happen. So I foresee, we want to blame law enforcement, but we have to understand the degree of difficulty that they are having with building a circumstantial case. If they could find Summer and do an autopsy on her, the case would move forward much quicker. But where we are right here and right now, it's very difficult in a prosecutorial standpoint as to why they're having the kinds of problems that they're having, if that makes sense. And again, that is my personal opinion. That is the opinion of the Bullhorn Betty channel with relation to why, and I've always said on my channel, I never understood. I could understand why they're not going for the disappearance of Summer Well, but there's that low-hanging fruit. We've talked about that low-hanging fruit on this channel of charges that they can bring against them to arrest them. As you've always heard, I've never, as Queen, you're not blocked, just I can see you. But that's why I was always talking about that low-hanging fruit. I never said, I don't understand why nobody's been arrested for Summer Wells' disappearance, because I believe I already know who is responsible for her disappearance. My thing is why aren't the parents in jail now for the low-hanging fruit items? i.e. the child abuse, the child neglect, the child endangerment. Then Don B, he called the Department of Children's Services or the clerk of courts and found out there's a gag order on the child stuff, which makes me believe that there is a court action. There is some kind of court action going on with Don Wells and Candace Bly in connection with the boys. And it could very well be that low-hanging fruit stuff that they're working through confidentially. And I just want to make sure that that's clarified. I understand the degree of difficulty in this case. I understand the degree of difficulty when you have a body in absentia. There are a lot of people read statutes, criminal statutes and other stuff, but unless you read the case law, unless you understand the pronged test that must be completed in order to bring that case, if you're missing one of those prongs, you can't bring that case forward, i.e. you can't make an arrest. So there's a lot of nuances with this case that we have got to acknowledge. And again, it doesn't mean that law enforcement isn't working hard. It's not that they're not doing their job. And I'm not saying they haven't made mistakes. Again, they're dealing with a case that they've never dealt with in the history of Hawkins County. So Kelly please read Don's letter. Does anybody know where the link is for Don's letter? Don's letter seems staged, in my opinion. Can one of my mods send me the link to Don's letter, and I'll be happy to bring it up here and read it for it. Robin, yes, that's true. But if you haven't seen this land drones, you're not going to get any footage. It's too dense. People, just because you have a drone and you're covering multiple acres, it's absolutely fruitless if you can't see the ground because it's so dense. And I've had law enforcement when I was dealing with the Laundrie case. This was one of the issues that they had with the Laundrie case out there in Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, is that the wooded area out there was so dense that even the heat detecting sonar that they had couldn't pick up anything, not even animals, because it was so dense. So you can have all the drones that you want, but unless that thick brush is gone, you're not going to see anything but thick brush on the top of it. Just like the heat sensor sonar or radar on some of these drones that law enforcement use can't find somebody in a dense wooded area, because the trees and everything cover that and camouflage that. And I've had law enforcement tell me that at Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie when we were doing that case. So yeah, it's great saying, hey, we have a drone, and hey, we have ground penetrating our heat penetrating sonar or radar and things like that. But if the area is so dense that it can't pick it up, what good is it? And I believe that's what we are dealing with here. Again, in my opinion. Okay, so let me see if I can find that. Okay, all right, let me see. Oh, I'm on the wrong computer. Hold on a second. Let me put this down. Go over here. Let's see if this is it. I got it right. Ah, shit, I didn't get it right. Hold on a second. Guys, block that person, please. Let's see if I can click on this. Just bear with me. Let me pull this away so I can do what I need to do here. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
I cannot sleep with your smile in my mind. Those little arms holding my neck.
So I'm not sure what this is.
Dance, my child.
Okay. Let's see if we can find the actual statement. Okay, here it is. Since you've been gone, I've been completely devastated. I looked everywhere for you, my beautiful girl. I thought, and this is a problem. Where has he looked? He has acknowledged over and over and over again he has not done one ground search. He hasn't done anything. I don't know where he has looked everywhere for her. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but in the grand scheme of things, no, I'm not giving him that. Absolutely not giving him that. I thought YouTube would be the most powerful tool to help us find you, and perhaps it still could be, but at a price we may not be able to afford. Our family may not survive. I'm sorry, my beautiful girl, that I completely lost my mind. 30 years of, I'm sorry, but 30 years of criminal conduct. It seems to me that you lost your mind, in all due respect, ever since 1983, when you decided to abuse your wife or girlfriend while she held your baby as you punched her in the face. With so many thoughts of people harming you, and I know you would want to come home, and there's nothing I can do. I'm powerless. So I've asked God to please look over. See if I can get it up just a little bit. Look over my precious daughter. We love her so much. He just changed from speaking to her to now speaking to someone else. We wish, God, you will return to her, or you will return her to us, as well as the boys. A little odd. I would be so happy to be a family again. But he took his family for granted every time he went out and used and abused. Please bow your heads for the Lord's Prayer. This, when it comes to the Lord's Prayer, whether I feel it or not, maybe you guys can all bow your heads, whether or not. I believe this is a staged letter as well. But our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive those who trespass against us as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Thanks, Don Wells. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Yeah. Deliver us from evil. I hope that they deliver him from evil, because, at the end of the day, yeah, I think a lot of people feel that was staged. I believe, how can I say this? I believe he does feel bad. I don't think it changes the circumstances. You know, a lot of people that do terrible things do feel bad about them. There's a lot of great people that do terrible things. There's a lot of bad people that do great things, right? And I just find it odd that we're here a year later and this is the first statement that we get from Don. He's been in jail since February. And so now, it is now that we get this statement. But I digress. You know, again, you know, I truly believe he has pain. Remember, he's in jail. He's not able to mask that pain anymore. He's not able to cover that pain up with booze and use as he once was able to do. So it's, in my opinion, a little late, without trying to sound too callous. Don has had every right over his lifetime to make necessary corrections, and he has chosen to continuously do the same exact thing, expecting different results, which is the definition of insanity. Candace as well. So, guys, listen, you know, we're at an hour and 30 minutes. We've covered a lot here. We've heard quite a bit. I'm going to go through here and check the messages real quick and see if there's anything maybe that I can answer or provide my opinion on, and see what we can, if we can make heads or tails. I don't know. You know, she's been awfully quiet, guys, and I have to think that there's more to that than meets the eye. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. And so does everybody else. Possible. Good point. Good point. I just don't understand why we still don't have a good timeline for that day. I really don't. And not only that, but if law enforcement has cleared the parents, why have they not come out and say they cleared the parents? It's almost like they're trying to tell everybody, everybody's still on the table, so they don't have to say they haven't cleared the parents in public, in my opinion. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, I really, truly believe that they've cleared people off the list, but won't tell us they cleared the people off the list, because that would make the Wells look even more guilty. And that may be a strategy for the defense and what law enforcement and the prosecution are trying to prevent. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Guys, I have done everything for the name of Summer. I've done everything for the name of all victims. I love exposing people and criminals. I want justice for these people. Many of you guys want justice for these people. There are many creators on YouTube right now seeking justice for these victims. And not just the victims that we talk about, even the victims we don't talk about. We do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, whether it be, you know, sending stuff to other creators, sending stuff to other people, you know, but there are a lot of children out there that are missing. Lots of young children out there missing that need our attention. And I did miss a few. I need to go back through. Thank you so much. Thank you for your devotion to this case. Miss Robin, you've got so much going on with you. I love you. I love you so much. She's been awesome. But there was a couple other ones that I wanted to get to, and I apologize. Let me go back up because this thing pops down, but I know there was a few super stickers in here, and I apologize for missing you guys. Let me see if I can go up and try to find you. Okay. Thank you, Miss Karen. There. Oh, wow. Thank you, sweetheart. I think that was, let's make sure I didn't miss anybody else. We appreciate all the love and support here. And we're out here just trying to do God's work. We really, truly are. And I know there are some people's opinions of us that, for whatever reason, because they don't care to listen. They don't care to come on here. They don't care to find out, what this channel is truly about. They want to listen to other people that don't like us, but it's because I call people out. And I have continuously stated that, everybody's talking about these footprints or these shoes or this person or that person. And I have continuously stated that, if they were relevant, that would show the potential of an abduction theory, which law enforcement has time and time again stated that there's no evidence of. And if there's no evidence of, and there's been a lot of things that they've come out and said were unfounded, yet people are still peddling that information, such as cracking cases. And I got nothing against Cam or Allie. They get all hot and bothered when I say anything about them, but the truth is the proof is in the pudding. And I really do believe that law enforcement, when they were talking about the creators that are intentionally trying to thwart this case, I truly believe they're talking about people like the Wells PI, Benny Keys, cracking cases, and they're allowed to have their opinions, and they're allowed to have their channels, just like I am. I'm not dogging that, but I think that they have willfully tried to interject other possibilities and drive other narratives in a case intentionally to derail a case. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I think we've talked, think about it. They've never had a case like this in the history of Hawkins County, ever. Never had a case like this in the history of Hawkins County. Yeah. Oh, good point. Didn't even think to call her out. Yes. 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 And I don't even want to say this girl home. We want to bring her back safe. I had a lady in here. I can't remember her name. Maybe it was Amy. I think it might have been Amy that said, I don't want her to come home safe, but I want her back safe. And I have to mimic that sentiment. And so somebody had asked me, because there was another statement. They were talking about this, Don Wells approving this asking the legislature about this Amber Alert and stuff like that. Because there's if Don Wells' name is on any changes related to child welfare or Amber Alerts, I'm going to vomit in my mouth. Seriously, vomit in my mouth. I don't want his name on anything, especially if he comes back as being one of the people that are responsible for the disappearance of his own child. The act in her name, yeah. And he's saying that he doesn't think his family will survive this. What does he mean by that? Even in this letter, what does he mean by that? He doesn't think his family will survive this. Does he mean he believes that they're going to go to jail? That their whole entire family is torn apart? That they have their children taken from them. You know, Candace's second set of children fully removed from her custody. That woman should never breed another child again. I'm sorry. She shouldn't. Clearly, she does not have the ability. Oh, no, go ahead. You can, yeah, no, you can do whatever you, monetization turned off for me. I'll text you. You can do whatever you want. Monetized, unmonetized, doesn't bother me one bit. And that's it. That's if I run live, but I don't think anybody that's out there, that it will go live. I do have some selfie sticks. I might have them, prop one up so we can do that. But yeah, I personally, you can do whatever, share. So any time as well, not just this, but anything. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Gosh, I don't know what that is. It's like I don't know if that's like bed bugs or if I rubbed, because I was out there in the woods. I'm wondering if I rubbed up against something. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and just believe me when I say I'm sad that we don't have more answers than we do. I'm sad that somebody is not being held responsible for this, But and I know that it's the human nature to want to blame somebody for it, but I just think blaming law enforcement is misplaced, in my opinion. Blaming them for everything is they didn't take this child. And they're required to act within the law. And they're required to bring a case that can be prosecuted within the law. And they don't even have her. I mean, you got to understand the amount of pressure against law enforcement to get this case done right. And not only that, but what if they rush this case? That's why I talk about the low-hanging fruit, and I don't talk about the disappearance of her, at them bringing the criminal charges for the disappearance. I always say until they can bring the charges of the disappearance. Thank you for being the voice for those of us that can't be. Bless you, and prayers for the beautiful summer. Thank you. Thank you. There's nothing worse, because you get one shot at a case like this, okay? You get one shot. That's it. One shot. So if they don't have their I's dotted and their T's crossed, the perpetrator could walk free and never be charged again. And that is the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen. So we have to understand the constraints of what law enforcement is working within. And while I'm frustrated and upset, there is nothing more than me wanting somebody prosecuted and hung on Main Street in public view over this baby girl and what may have happened to her. And yes, I said that. The bottom line is she hasn't been found. This is making this case 10 times harder. Law enforcement didn't take this child. Law enforcement didn't make this child disappear. Law enforcement is trying to put the pieces of this huge puzzle together and make sense of it and try to build a case and take it to court so whoever's responsible can pay the price for what they have done. And again, I will always be critical of, if law enforcement does things, I will give my opinion. Does it mean I don't back the blue? Of course not. We love law enforcement. We think they're great. Do they make mistakes? I've always said people need to quit acting like law enforcement is a superhuman, because they're not. They are only human. And when you have a human element, mistakes will be made because people are not perfect. If you are wanting perfection, you are living in a fantasy world. No one is perfect. I'm telling you, I'm going to find that video, and I had my body cam on too. I want you guys, I hope I captured that law enforcement's face. I want you to see the pain in his eyes. The pain in his eyes. A year later, this is personal for these law enforcement officers. This is beyond personal for these law enforcement officers. But they're doing the best they can with what they're given. And this place it's just not easy to track and trace. Obviously there's some problems. Does it mean they don't have an idea of what happened? Of course, they probably have an idea of what happened. But it's not about knowing what happened. It's about proving what happened. It's about making sure that the people that are responsible for this are held accountable. So that's, in my opinion, where this case lies. Thanks. They're sweet at first. I didn't get to this. I didn't want them to be scared. After I brought Scotty E. Skull's picture of Summer, I then explained. I must have walked in just a little late. Sorry. Seriously, better. Let's see. What does it say? Seriously, Betty, in Summer Moon's case, I feel like they aren't really putting any priority in it because her folks were trouble. Putting priority on it. They stopped the presses and got multiple agents. They were scaling freaking mountains that have almost a 90-degree pitch. I think it's a little unfair. I just do. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I just think that's unfair because you don't know the injuries that they sustained. You don't know how many people that they were. People worked 24 hours a day in heat, in Tennessee summer heat. I just think it's it's a little unfair, you know? And it's, we can be critical. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we can't be critical of some things, but to say that these officers, these people that got on the ground, these searchers that did their job, these detectives that are scratching their heads and trying to find answers and trying to find clues, it's difficult. And you know what's funny is I think that there's something there because that animosity that seemed to be in that room. I've never seen a press conference so angry. I think is the word I'm thinking of is angry. They like Leslie Earhart. She's always had such a sweet face and a sweet demeanor, and she just seemed angry. Lawson seemed angry. Like it just almost seemed like before the press conference, they were all just going at it behind the scenes, trying to figure out what to say. And like I could just see somebody beating their hands like, you are not saying that. It's going to cause more problems, or, Ronnie lost. They may have chewed Ronnie out and said, I can't believe you told them that they weren't cooperating and had lawyered up. Do you know how much problems that's going to cause for us? Just stuff like that. Can I ask a question that may... Sure. While we wait for your question, let's see what here. Buckeye Girl said, Andrew, do you know when the last time anybody other than her mom, dad, grand has seen Summer? And do you think she was missing before the 15th? How am I going to answer that? So I don't know. And here's why. Because when we go back and look at all the statements, all the statements that have been told to law enforcement. They've come from Dawn and Candace and Grandis and Hunter. Some of them, Candace is trying to say Hunter is lying. Hunter is saying, I'm not lying. I don't think he ever came out and said, no, I'm telling the truth. Candace is lying. But after he said his statement, Candace made sure that she said she doesn't know why that boy is lying about everything. Why would that boy lie about everything? And it wasn't Hunter that went to her house to find out what she had said to law enforcement. It was her and Grandis that went to his house 2 days after she disappeared, in his face, asking him what he told law enforcement. Do I believe she went missing before the 15th? If the videos that were provided that have been the alibi of Summer, or the evidence, maybe evidence would be more appropriate word. If those videos of Summer were evidence that she was alive the 15th, and we find out those videos were not taken from that day, then it would be more probable that she went missing before the 15th, which would mean not only was Candace, Grandis, and Dawn lying, but it means that Hunter lied about everything as well. I don't believe that she went missing before the 15th with what we have right now. If what we have right now proves to be false, manipulated, fabricated to say she was there the 15th when she wasn't, then we can most likely conclude that Summer went missing prior to the 15th, in my opinion. Absolutely. I would love nothing more than to be a perfect person. I'm a Virgo. Like I aim for perfection. I aimlessly aim for perfection. Like I would love nothing more than to be a perfect person in this world of imperfect people. I would love to be the one, right? It ain't happening, folks. I'm human. I make mistakes each and every day. For example, let's talk about some mistakes I made. I didn't check my brakes. Big mistake, right? Not perfect. Not perfect at all. I'm sitting in a hotel without wheels right now. Not to, I mean, you know, that's a prime example. I do stuff like that every day. I almost didn't mow my yard before I left. It would have been overgrown where I almost couldn't mow my yard if I came back and didn't mow it. Did I mow the yard perfectly? Again, I did not. I mowed it just enough so I could mow it more thoroughly when I got back. Not a perfect person. I bet you if you sat down right now and thought about all the things that you could have done better, you will find out that you yourself are not a perfect person. No one is. Perfection is a fallacy. I think we are all just upset about this case. I think we are all upset that we feel like there is no justice for Summer Wells and there's no justice coming down. The one thing I can say about that press conference that gives hope is that they have reassured us that this is not a cold case. This is most definitely an active and ongoing case. That is great news. That is the news that we want to hear. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And again, for those that are just viewing in, Summer Moon Utah Wells went missing in Rogersville, which is in Hawkins County, Tennessee, She is now 6 years old, but went missing when she was 5 years old on June 15th, 2021, 1 year ago today. She's a white female, 4 foot tall, 40 pounds, blonde hair, blonde eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes. Anyone with any information, credible firsthand knowledge, credible tips. For example, if you heard the lady down the road tell you she saw this on June 15th, you do not call 1-800-TBI-FIND and report that tip. You go to the lady down the street and have her call 1-800-TBI-FIND. You understand? We don't need to say, we don't need speculation. We don't need to ask, have they dredged this? Have they swam that? Have they looked this? That is not what the tip line is for. The tip line is for tips. You personally saw, you personally have knowledge of, you personally know, you have evidence of. That is what the 1-800-TBI-FIND phone number is for. While it sounds like they appreciate the pouring support of people in and around this area and across the country and across the globe, they appreciate it. They understand what this little child meant to all of us. But they also have a very difficult job to do. And we do not want to complicate it or make that job 10 times worse. What we would like to do is help them. And the only way we are able to help law enforcement is to provide them credible, legitimate, firsthand knowledge, tips, information related to Summer Wells, her disappearance, or her whereabouts. I've watched JLR's clips this week. That foliage is like a wall of tangled bugs. Honestly, I haven't even had time to watch his stuff. So unfortunately, Banjo, I don't even know what you are referring to. And did you ask another question? Sorry, Banjo, I told you to ask the question. Anyone know if Candace will be at any of the vigils? This is what I found out, and this is what I find the most disgusting and appalling. So as you guys know, I told you about the Betty badasses that are on the hill of Candace's home, thinking that they are going to intimidate people on public property from private property. Actually told somebody that JLR, well, first of all, said that Candace has never been invited. I have publicly invited Candace from day one and publicly told anybody if Candace or Grandis or the boys or anybody else associated with this case shows up, you are not to ask them any questions. You are to leave them be and allow them to be there and honor this baby girl. I've said that out the gates. These girls intentionally lied and said that Candace had never been invited to any vigil when I've got it and I can show it. We have it. Go back to my very first video where I came out with the date and time of this vigil, and you will hear me say that. And I've said it on every vigil since, that Candace and Grandis, the boys, Allie, Hunter, all of them are more than welcome to come. And when they come, they are to be left alone. They are not to be questioned. They are to be allowed to participate in this vigil just like everyone else. And not only that, these girls went a step further and told Smiley's World that JLR threatened Candace's life. That is the most despicable thing I have ever heard. Jonathan has never, nor would ever, threaten anybody, let alone take away a life. That man has fought tooth and nail for victims, of domestic violence, victims of crimes. He has worked tirelessly to expose people, and these despicable people would spread such slanderous, defamation, libelous claims against a man that has such passion in helping victims. And I'm not saying that because he is my friend. I'm saying that because it's despicable, it's inaccurate, it's unfounded, and it's disgusting that they would ever allege that. But to go to your question, she has been invited. It sounds like she has declined. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Very well put. And we heard from Detective John Pruitt, anybody that meets the requirements, they are accepting applications at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. So if you guys would like to help the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, they are accepting applications for employment. Maybe you can apply today and help and work up the food chain. So if something like this ever happens in the future, you can be part of the team that works on those cases and helps helpless victims. I think it should. Thank you. Yeah, they were just all those kids were just born into the wrong family, in my opinion. It's sad to say that, but they were just born into the wrong family. Summer should have been born into, you know what I wish? You guys remember when we heard, like at the very beginning of this case, where we found out that Don actually was going to adopt Summer and got greedy and wanted money from these people. Like they were going to be able to provide Summer a great life. Just think where Summer would be right now if he would have just went through with that. Instead of being so greedy about money, he could have given his daughter a beautiful life and chose to give these people the runaround and the middle finger. And it's sad. She could be here right now. Thank you. Okay, so Lip says that she was seen at the store. Can you clarify that for us? And not just clarify it, because I know people are going to say, well, how do you know that? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So if you can clarify which store she was seen at and also clarify where that source came from, that would be great. Not that I don't believe you. I just want to make sure you know that. It's not that. You know how YouTube works. You're on here too, girl. And they were very short. Like they only took, she's like, oh, we'll take a few questions. And they just kind of cut it. It didn't seem like any of them really wanted to be there. I don't know what that, I'm going to have to go back and review that, that press conference again. Something just didn't seem right. I don't know. Watching it, and even with all the chaos going on here behind the scenes, trying to, get everything working. And I was noticing it was like, freezing a little bit and not running properly. It was, I could still notice that there was just something not right. And I can't pin it. Then that's why I said it almost seemed like they were angry, like something like they had this big brawl or, yelling match behind the scene. I'm not saying that happened. I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. I have no knowledge whether something like that did happen. It was just an analogy. Like it seemed like that had happened because they seemed angry. It seemed like something happened. Like they were in trouble or got yelled at, or like a student that got yelled at, and I don't know how to explain it. That's just the vibe I got from what I was seeing, and if people may not agree with that, that's just what just how I feel. The store managers say they saw her that day. I'm still curious about what store that was. I have content I'm trying to show today, but can't get it to my computer for my, I know it's a pain in the butt. I absolutely understand what you're saying, Lips. Because he basically a sort of criminal type of person, and they use drugs, alcohol, and they're already in trouble with CPS and all sorts of crap. I'm not sure who that was referring to. Was that referring to Don or the parents? Oh, thank you, Sharon. You are a new YouTube member. Thank you for supporting this channel. Yeah. And you guys remember that one of the first what am I trying to say? Actually, let me pull this out. I keep hearing some clicking. Remember that first interview that they had out in front of their house with WJHL, and she said that she was registered for school and had already went and got all of her records or something. That I have to go back and take that clip out. I've always wondered if that was true. That was never corroborated, and I don't know if that can be corroborated because usually school boards are about as confidential as the children, Department of Children and Family Services. So I've always wondered that because we've always heard that they haven't gone to doctors. They won't go to doctors because it's too expensive. They don't have insurance, yada, 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 yada. So I've always wondered if, what was accurate and what was not. Gotcha. If they don't have a timeline, if they don't even have a timeline, that means that means they have quit relying upon it. I got to go back and just analyze that and go through that statement. That was that press conference with a fine tooth comb, because if they're alleging that they made some statements related to possibly not having a timeline or the timeline now being so screwed up, the one thing we can ascertain from that statement would be that they no longer believe what the Wells have told them. My opinion. I hate having to keep saying my opinion. I think we need to have, I can't figure out which way my hair is going, but I think we need to have a standard of in this chat room. It's easier for me to say this is factual because we have opinions and speculate on different things based upon, like, we have factual information, and then because of that factual information, we make speculations on what we think is going on, and we convey that to our audience, and we throw our opinions in there. So I think for all intents and purposes, unless it's factual information, everything that is said on here, our discussions, our brainstorming, so to speak, should be addressed as opinions and speculation as opposed to true facts. So I just want to let people know that it is my opinion that if the timeline is breaking apart, then they no longer believe Dawn and Candace's account of events. Let's see what this says. What do you think of another creator flying in a helicopter over the Vigil? Curious is all. The creators won't be going live, they said, out of respect, unless they're in the helicopter. I have what people, this is what I think is the problem with YouTube. I don't think I have the right to tell anybody what they should be doing. I don't think I have the right to tell somebody, oh, you can't get in a helicopter. The last time I checked, each and every one of us live in the United States of America, the most freest country in the world. With that being said, I don't think anybody has the right to tell me what I should be doing with my channel either. So I appreciate the saying, and I'm not coming down on you, but what do I think about other creators flying in a helicopter? They are free to make any decision that they choose to make. They want to come to the Vigil, come to the Vigil. If they want to fly in a helicopter, fly in a helicopter. If they want to, they have to, they are in charge. Nobody is in charge of anybody else in this world except themselves. So I am a liberty person. I believe everybody has the right to do what they choose to do. And I'm sorry, but sometimes I think people are way too far in other people's business. Just saying. But I have, me personally, in my opinion, I don't really have an opinion about that. I think anybody should be able to do what they want to do within the law. Let me say that before somebody says, "This is what she did." Sibby Campbell, I'm telling you, I gotta be careful how I answer these questions because somebody will just, run it through the mill. It's awful what they do. It's awful what they do. One of the tree trimmers told Ziggy that she was in the vehicle with them and another worker was speaking with them at the vehicle. Check with Ziggy to be sure I'm saying it correctly. Okay. So it sounds like there are some indicators, if all these things are corroborated, that yes, Summer truly, in fact, was there on the 15th. So the idea that maybe she disappeared sooner or later is probably not going to hold water. Mama 13, that's nice. We got a lot of Virgos in here. And you guys know how picky we are. Justice for Summer Wells. Thank you, Charlotte Ann. Yes, no one's perfect, and we all aren't murderers. That's true. Press conference confirmed that they don't know. They don't want to look into foul play as fact when those are the facts. I'll have to go back and read it. Okay, let me get it. Never accused you of those people. Mention you. Say that. Billboards are up. Yeah, billboards are up. That has nothing to do with that 423 Chase guy. He conned people out of money and took off with the money. And whether there were billboards up after the fact or not, they weren't up by the man that was collecting money to put them up. And quite frankly, it is my understanding they're tracking cases with associated with that. So, and I do trust Equisearch, just to let you know. And Lawson said those footprints, no, he didn't say anything about the footprints. The reason why I'm saying they're most likely unfounded is because that would show, one, that she either wandered off, or two, that she was abducted, which they have time and time again said there's no evidence of an abduction, and they're looking into the real possibility of her wandering off. And if they really believe those footprints, and I think we go through this every time, Robin, I really think you come in here and say the same exact thing over and over again. So I'm going to say the same exact thing over and over and over again. And that is that if for any reason those footprints were founded, okay, the reason why I am giving my opinion that they are unfounded, which you know this because this is not the first time we've had this conversation, that it's because they would have said, stop what you're doing. We found footprints. We have dogs that have confirmed these footprints are Summer Wells, right? You would expect them to do that, right? And they would say, hey, everybody in this area, we found footprints or shoes that might be Summer's. This is the area she may have been when she wandered off. And for that matter, maybe everybody needs to go out and check their sheds one more time in this area because her footprints were found there. We're not saying that the footprints weren't there. We're saying that if they were her footprints, people would have heard about them a little bit more. Law enforcement would have acknowledged them. Law enforcement has never acknowledged them. And if they have acknowledged them, why haven't they asked the people in and around that area to look for Summer Wells in that specific area? Because this would have been new information. They would have found these footprints. They would have said, here's a good lead. Sorry, Robin, but how many times are you going to beat this dead horse? And why do you keep coming in here to beat this dead horse when you know how I feel about this? Because you keep bringing this up. I love you. I'm glad you're here. But how many times are we going to have to beat this dead horse? I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. That is not, oh my, Robin, Lord have mercy. That is not true. You can't arrest somebody until you can build the flipping case. Please go read the law. They literally have 180 days from the time of arrest to prosecute them and take them to trial. That's it. That's what the law allows. They have to dot their I's and cross their T's. At this point, that is what is required for an arrest. All right, so I'm not going to respond to you anymore, Robin. I think you've taken enough time here, and it's the same broken record with you. And you're allowed to have your opinion, but I've got to tune you out at this point because you're driving me nuts. And I can say that because I'm an honest person. And I'm sorry, you and I just won't ever agree on this. Thank you. That was very kind of you. I appreciate it. But you and I, we just have to agree to disagree, Robin. I mean, seriously, that's at the end of the day, that's what we have to do. We have to agree to disagree. You have your opinion, your mindset. I have my opinion and my mindset, but you're more than welcome to communicate and conversate with the people in the chat. I just can't. I've got it because it really frustrates me. You're saying these things, but we go over this. Like, this is not our first time having this specific and exact conversation. And I don't understand how many times we're going to have it, but I guess we'll just keep having it every time you decide to bring these stupid footprints up. But I believe these footprints are exactly the kind of garbage that Ronnie Lawson and Leslie Earhart are talking about, throwing garbage into a case. Just my opinion. I never heard anything from reliable sources about Summers' footprint. Neither have I. You know, I've heard them from cracking cases. Whatever. I like them. I just don't agree with them. And you know what? When we found out where the allegations came from, it was from a freaking neighbor posting in a Facebook chat room. That's where they came from. It wasn't from law enforcement. Law enforcement never said anything about these footprints, never said anything about these shoes. It was a person that's not law enforcement and that told law enforcement about it. And clearly law enforcement didn't pay any attention to it. Just like Jody Sue's statement of an animalistic type of scream, most likely because they had her text messages that said she just woke up from a noise. What a crock of crap that was. If I had only pushed a little bit more, I wish I would have looked into it a little bit. Give me a break, girl. Go stare at your screen for another 20 minutes in silence. Yeah. And they need to be able to prosecute the case. They just can't go place handcuffs on somebody when the case is not built. Yeah. Nothing fits with her. The woman is off her damn rocker. No, they wouldn't. They have to build the freaking case. Go look at Tennessee law. I'm done. Like, I'm seriously ready to block you. Like, quit coming in here and acting like you know what you're talking about until you go read the law, until you understand what speedy trial is all about. At this point, they can't. They have to build the flipping case. They can't say, oh, there was evidence. There may be evidence of this, but it's not enough to arrest them. How many times have we watched? Look, why don't you look at the West case, Robin? Look at the West case. Look at the flipping West case. Evidence was there, but they could not even put the handcuffs on him. Lordy. I'm sorry. Some people just thick-skulled. Thick. Yep, all law, you have substantial evidence of proof, but because, yep, all law, you have have substantial evidence of proof, but because they get one chance to convict, watch Law and Order. You get one bite at the apple. That's it. If you don't have your ducks in a row or you're missing a link in that case, it could cause that entire case to be thrown out and never tried again, Robin. Never tried again, i.e. the perp walks free. It's insanity. Yeah. Either way, guys, I hope, we do find answers, but we are going to go forward. It is, oh my gosh, 1 o'clock. I've got, about 4.5 hours before it's showtime. So guys, I love you. I love each and every one of you. God bless you. Robin, I do appreciate your stuff. I know me and you butt heads, but I do and appreciate debating you, but maybe I need to have you up here. Maybe that'll be something that we can do in the near future. Since we have opposing viewpoints to this point, maybe you and I just need to put it all out there and see what the audience says. So until next time, folks, don't forget to be fearless. And please, if you guys are in and around the Rogersville, Tennessee area between 7 and 9:30 tonight, please don't forget to stop by at 117 Justice Center Drive here in Rogersville, Tennessee, so that we can have a prayer and a beautiful candlelight vigil for Summer Wells. And we are here to also tell law enforcement, thank you for their work. Thank you. They deserve that much. Thank you, law enforcement, for the work you have done and the work you will continue to do. And we have got to put our faith in them. And we have got to give them positive encouragement, because they are the only ones that can truly help bring justice to Summer. They are the ones. And we can't just keep clubbing them over the head and blaming them that this baby girl has disappeared and they have not prosecuted the perpetrators yet. Again, they didn't do anything with this baby. They're trying their damnedest to put this stuff together, to bring a case forward and to prosecute the animals responsible for the disappearance of this child. So with that, all, God bless. Keep up the faith. Let's say a prayer for Summer Moon Utah Wells today. And let's say a prayer for law enforcement to give them the strength and the courage to keep moving forward in this case. Love you all, and God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.